But we start in the Spanish capital. Santi Solari sacked as Real Madrid coach today. Zinedine Zidane is back in charge of the club, signing a contract until 2022. Let's go out to Sid Lowe, who's outside the Bernabeu, who's at the press conference where Zidane was presented. Sid, how did this happen? We thought it was going to be Mourinho, didn't we?
Well, Real Madrid had two options, both of which were turning back. One was Mourinho, one was Zidane. Very, very different, of course, in terms of their approaches, very different in terms of their personalities. And I think what happened over the last 3 or 4 days is that Madrid were in a position where they had to try and persuade Zidane to come back. And I must admit, I'm genuinely surprised that Zidane gave in. Now, he today in this press conference has talked about how nothing really needed to be said to him, no promises needed to be made, no guarantees needed to be offered. He just needed to get the call. Now, if that's true, why was the call made last Thursday and it's only happened today on Monday?
Sid, obviously we're speculating, but you imagine promises mean you're going to get new players, we're going to get rid of the players that you don't want. Promises, of course, that Florentino Perez couldn't give this time last year, hence Zidane walked.
Yeah, exactly. Either couldn't give or wouldn't give. And I think while Zidane has insisted that, I haven't been told these things, I haven't been told things about cleaning out the squad and so on, I don't think anyone truly believes him on that. And he talked tonight about just getting on with the next 11 games, thinking about what they do in the summer, and that changes will then be made, which of course tells you that there are some changes in mind. Also, he's got 11 games to try and make a final decision on that. But I think you're absolutely right. I think what's happened over the last 4 or 5 days is that they've discussed the kind of things he would like to do and the kind of things that he probably wanted to do, as you rightly say, in the summer. And at that stage, that guarantee wasn't given. Now, given Real Madrid's crisis, it has been.
Finally, Sid, before you go for your boy band rehearsal, let's talk about the fact, how has it been received in Madrid? How do the fans like this?
Absolutely delighted. In terms of a kind of ending a crisis move, this has been a masterstroke. I remember we talked about this last week, and I was saying that what I couldn't really get my head around, what I couldn't really understand, is what need there would be to bring in a manager now who might get burnt by these final 11 games. I have to say, in terms of my interpretation there, I was clearly very wrong. And obviously what's happened is that since the knockout in the Champions League, we saw this in the 2 or 3 days that followed, the crisis risk getting deeper. And by putting Zidane in, you calm that down immediately. So these 11 games might mean nothing, but they do mean that you can calm things down, you can get someone in who everybody is behind. I mean, Zidane tried to claim that 1 or 2 people were annoyed with him for walking out. That doesn't feel true at all. Right now, the whole of the city is delighted.
Sid Lowe, thank you very much for your thoughts. Just a reminder, Zinedine Zidane had a phenomenal record with the club. Of course, in the Champions League, was so successful. He's back for a second stint, gentlemen. Is this the right choice?
Well, absolutely. And, as Sid was just saying there, for Florentino Perez, for the time being, it gets a lot of people off his back. Now, I can't remember what the rhetoric was from when Zidane left. I think he said he wanted to take a break.
Yes,
of that.
yeah.
But I think, let's be honest, he could probably smell and see what was around the
The
corner.
Titanic was sinking pretty much.
Well, he probably had a look at it and thought, well, we need this, we need that, we need to do this, and if I'm not going to get it, maybe it's better I step aside. And if he's really clever, and I don't know if this is the case, he maybe could have foreseen that it was going to be a struggle, and that down the line he might have an opportunity to come back in and let somebody else just take the pressure, be it Solari or Lopetegui. And he comes back in now with a big job on his hands, but without any real pressure between now and the end of the season, because he'll just say, listen, I need to rebuild this in the summer.
Yeah.
Genius moves from both parties.
Really?
From Florentino Perez and Real Madrid, it looks as if, and this may be surprising to some Real Madrid fans, that there may be a plan in place. Yeah. That indeed you're making a decision based not only on what happens next weekend, but what happens in the long term with Real Madrid. It feels as if you're bringing Zidane back is because now you've assured him that we're going to make this transition and we're going to make the changes that need to be made that we couldn't make last summer. For Zidane, he goes, takes his break, gets his mind off the game, and he just watches from the outside and sees this team fall apart, which he probably could have foretold before he walked off, and then comes back and he's a hero. And no matter what happens from here till the end of the season, he's still a hero. And, mind you, then comes the changes. And that's really where things need to happen for Real Madrid. that the decisions that they make in terms of personnel make sense to Zinedine Zidane. Those are the things that he wants, and that he gets the players that he wants. And the players that are not going to be helpful and useful, get out. The players that we need, bring them in. The other ones that we don't want, gone. All of that needs to happen, and Zidane seems to be the calmest person to make this happen. This man was outstanding today in the press conference. Everything was a smile.
He didn't even dress up for the press conference.
No, look at the pants. Are you kidding me? So he just looked so calm, and everything was so welcoming, and everything. Nothing to see. I love this club. This is fantastic. It's great from everybody.
But, I mean, apart from Gareth Bale, it seemed pretty much he got on, had a good relationship with almost everybody.
Yes.
Hence one of the reasons he was able to be so successful. I mean, it's well documented him and Bale didn't particularly get on, and Bale spent a lot of time on the bench. However, that kind of cosy relationship now that brought him success is going to have to be broken up.
Yep.
Because Ali said he's now going to have to take a real hard-nosed look at this now and say, him and him need to go. I know they were successful for me, but that was then, and this is now. So he's going to make he came in before and he was fighting some fires, and it was about getting the players smiling again and getting the happy team ethic and being happy in the training ground and going out for meals and the team that sort of drinks together wins together. But that's not the squad he's taken over now. No. He's now taken over an embattled squad of players. I've had Ramos out. I don't know what Ramos was doing today. Social media, press. He was like holding court.
Yep.
So he's got a lot to sort out between now and the summer transfer window.
Let's welcome Ian Darke into the show. Ian, what do you make of this appointment?
Well, I think it's home is the hero, isn't it? This is the guy who could do no wrong when he was in charge before. And I suppose it's a happy outcome for Real Madrid. But there are some big issues. Like Sid and the rest of the guys, I can't believe that he hasn't been given plenty of assurances about what will happen in the summer in terms of buying players, maybe Eden Hazard. What is he going to do about Bale? What is he going to do about Isco? What is he going to do about Marcelo? There's a lot to sort out at Real Madrid because it has been a horrendous season by their standards.
Isn't this a bit of a slap in the face for Mourinho, who we've seen over the last couple of weeks pretty much openly courting Real Madrid and saying, I had a great time there, I'd love to go back, and they've chosen Zinedine Zidane, whose CV, I know at Real Madrid is great, but Jose Mourinho surely is a maturer coach, a more successful one.
He is, but he's also one that's carried a lot of baggage and been very problematic, even at that club. And so for Mourinho, he'll just say, well, I'll wait on PSG. Right. I always wanted to go and manage in France. And there's a fair chance that one will come. A fair chance that one will come around. The other one is Pochettino. I don't know if he came into the thinking in this process for Real Madrid, but he's now sitting looking at Solskjaer doing well at Man United. We discussed that. Yep. And Zidane on a contract till 2022.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things been affected here, including Mourinho, but I'm sure he'll do all right with his payoff. Just sitting tight for a bit.
Of course, he's still living off his Manchester United payoff.
And the others, and the Chelsea, and the others.
Short term, as everyone seems to agree, this is great for Real Madrid from both sides. But big picture, Zinedine Zidane set the bar so high when he was there. Surely the only kind of way is down, isn't it?
Well, no, because of where the team is now. You look at a team that is on life support, and the standard of Real Madrid is much higher than everybody else's. And so, therefore, where the team is now, as currently constituted, Zidane walks in and makes this team successful next year is... Again, it's a perfect scenario for Zinedine Zidane because the bar is incredibly low. I mean, we're talking about a team that has nothing to play for from here on to the end of the season. And so that's not the standard for Real Madrid. So he's walking in, and because there is pressure to perform and put together a team, he can then say, in order for us to be the team that we were, we need to make these changes. And who wouldn't listen when you are where you are if you're Real Madrid?
Well, my memory's not great. Was it three Champions Leagues?
3 Champions Leagues.
Right, but they didn't win La Liga.
No.
Right. Now, there's the carrot.
Yes.
And, we know how important Champions League is, but whenever and it was about a year ago, we spoke to our colleague, Steve McManaman, former Real Madrid player, and said, what would you prefer to win?
Yeah.
As somebody that played for Real Madrid, and Champions League or La Liga? And he said La Liga.
Yeah.
So I suppose...
Which Zidane was saying a lot as well during his tenure, because obviously they've been successful in the Champions League, but Barca have dominated.
So that's the big thing to start winning that. I mean, It's a win-win in terms of a PR exercise, but in terms of what he's got to do on the field and what he has to do in the transfer window is huge.
We haven't heard from Santi yet, by the way, if he's going to come back on the show now.
Well, he's going to have time.
From Real Madrid to extra time.
He's going to have time now.
That's it.